was hit, but it's all good. Glad you're here. Good evening. First and foremost, want to read this disclaimer. This video represents the views of the presenters and it's based off of our own personal research and life experience, and in no way is this content endorsed by or a representation of the official policies of any organization. First and foremost, though, before we really get started, I rise and give the highest praise to the Most High, our Father God Allah. Always give honors to our divine prophet, Noble Drew Ali. We give honors also to everything Moorish. I know you're going to enjoy this show. Good evening or good afternoon. You're listening to the True and Living Lightbringer Moors in America. As always, I'm your brother Lloyd Douglas L., also known as Sharif Ali. We are uncovering and bringing glorious light to all issues pertinent to the Moorish American paradigm. That's what we do here on this podcast known as Moors in America. That's how we get down. Today, we are discussing a video that is circulating, going viral. There were actually a couple of police officers in front of this Asiatic man's house, and they're talking trash, and they got caught on tape. They didn't know they were being recorded. It was his surveillance, and they're on there saying some troubling things. But we're going to put it in the proper light because we know how weak and watered down the mainstream media is, right? It's weak. It's weak. It's weak. It's so weak. They can't tell the truth like we can tell the truth. There's no censor on me. Right, and it's not about me, but there's no censor on me. I'm here to reveal the light, reveal the truth. Like we can. Not saying that we're the only ones that do it, just saying that nobody can do it like the Moors can do it, especially the Moorish Americans. And if you know that's true, hit that like and share button, Moors. Let's get more people on here, because I'm telling you, CBS, NBC, Young Turks, any of these other channels, they're not going to do it like we're going to do it. They're going to give you the watered down version of, oh, he said something racist and we're going to get the police to wear video cameras. Or they're going to give you the weak, watered down version of it, but we don't do it like that. We keep it all the way real. So I hope everyone is having an amazing afternoon or amazing evening. And in light of that, make sure you hit that like and share button. That's the least you could do. Get that info out. Get the algorithms up. Get more people on here. Because nobody's going to tell it like we're going to do it. And there's only a couple of us holding it down for the Moors. So if you wouldn't mind, just make sure you share this broadcast on your favorite platform. Whatever you use on social media, whether it's Facebook, All right, all right. Here we go, Morris. Okay, so yeah. Hopefully you can see the screen. Let's see if we can make that bigger. Okay. So yeah, this is going viral right now. I just saw this recently, but we have somebody we have some officers that didn't know they were being recorded. And what were they doing? They were basically harassing a brother. Right? This was in Canada too. This was in Ottawa. And you know what? Before we play the video, let me just go to the article. So we have a couple links to this, but all right. So it says Ottawa police investigating video of members saying white man's day is done. All right. He said the white man's day is done. This is funny, man. This is real funny. Carlton professor says these are very troubling racist ideas about conversation, talking about that conversation in the video. Looks like this just happened yesterday. So this is just a screenshot of the video. It's been going on social media. You had 3 uniformed Ottawa police officers having a conversation about how the white man's day is done. And this is the quote from Instagram, because the dude who lived there, he recorded them and he put it on Instagram. He put it out there. Right. So it says Ottawa Police Service is conducting an investigation after videoing online this week shows uniformed members of his force having a racist conversation. The video is a partial recording from security camera at a person's home and was originally posted on social media by a friend of the person involved. The person confirmed the video was recorded in his garage in the summer of 2019. He said the officers were there to serve a warrant after he had been pulled over for driving without a license a few days earlier. He told them not to identify him because he fears for his safety and that of his families. They actually got real trifling. They actually said some stuff like this dude right here that you see in the bottom. He was like saying like the dude is the dude said, what does he look like? The other cop said he's a big black dude. And this dude said they're basically a waste of life. Right. But they didn't even put that quote in here, but he said that. So they basically, this is what's been going viral. One officer says, our days are done. White man's day is done. The other officer says, yeah, you're probably right. Third one says, you're on to something. The population of North America, we're the minority, I think, even at this point, one officer goes on to say. You go to Toronto and every couple you see walking by is a mixed couple. You don't see white people and white people together. It's white and Asian, white and East Indian. I told my son he can find a Chinese Asian girlfriend. Can he continue? If he wants to stay in the mix, get your foot in the door. Right. And then they're just going on to act like they're going to investigate them. They don't support the type of stuff they were saying. Right. Let's see what else it say. Conversation. They got a sociology professor, a Chinese person talking about how they have racist, troubling racist ideas. The enduring notion of white ownership of this nation, despite North America first belonging to indigenous people and being built on the free labor of blacks under cruel conditions under slavery and the exploitation of Chinese labor. Right. And so they're just, they're going in on it. Hey, that's good. Hopefully maybe they actually follow up with these dudes and do something about it. You never know. They probably get a slap on the wrist, but right. This is what they talking about. And Islam to the brother Anthony in the chat said BLM people, they would get better to get with Hispanics. Yeah, because he told them the Hispanics got next. He's like, the Hispanics are taking over. Y'all gonna be underneath them. And he's like so inarticulate. He's so ignorant when he talks. It's funny. We have somebody in the chat talking about get to the video. Look, this is what we do here. We don't do gossip. We're not just talking about what happened. We're giving the real issue, like what's really going on, putting it on our perspective. So, if that ain't for you, go on somewhere else. Go watch TMZ or something like that. Because all they're going to do is talk about it. They use the stupid voices in TMZ. They use these stupid cartoon sounding voices. And they always They gonna give you maybe more on your speed. They're gonna talk about it where you at, possibly. You know, if you just want to see the video, you can go watch it anywhere. That ain't how we do here in America. But so anyway, look, man, the officer actually said some trifling stuff. But so yeah, it was posted on Instagram, got a few views. But let me actually go to another link. I'm gonna play the video for you though. All right, hang on. All right. Bro, you're in timeout. Look, everything you just typed out is deleted just like that. Like it's a waste of time really to try to troll and to you know, come on somebody else's channel. It's like it's a waste of time because like you don't get to shine, bro. You wasting time. Go to TMZ. Go somewhere else. Nobody cares. So here we go. Racist cop. All right.
Everest says our days are done. White man's day is done. He's totally right. Yeah. No, I think he is right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, if it's true, the even population of North America is we're in the minority. I think even at this point. Yeah.
If you put all the different groups together.
Yeah. Yeah. But you go to Toronto and every couple you see walking by is a mixed couple. You don't see two white people together. It's white Asian, white East Indian. That's what I still need to find a Chinese Asian girlfriend. He wants to stay in the mix.
That's the gist of it. Right. That's the gist of it. The dude actually posted a couple of videos. I'm not gonna play all of that stuff. What the okay, we have some we got some crazy people up in the comments. All right. So basically that's the gist of it. The dude posted a couple of videos though. Let me post the last one because the officer on there said some real slick, like crazy mess. Like he said dude was worthless, or like his life is he's a waste of life.
You won't miss him. Another waste of life.
Yeah. So you don't even hear the media talking about that. Like, you know, they're talking about it a little bit, focusing on the whole thing, how they're saying the white man's time is done. They even get that. So those are messed up. Stuff like this happens. I mean, these are the type of discussions that they have all the time, you know, amongst each other. Nobody's looking. Not really a big deal, but this is how they get down. Right. And a lot of people may be shocked to hear these things. Is you don't realize this is how they get down. This is how they get down. OK, this isn't shocking us. All right. But one reason why we're talking about this is because all they're really doing is speaking on what we already know as Moors. Right. So the dude, did they say the dude's friend posted it? Video of blatantly racist police officers harassing a black man. They didn't know the conversation they were having on his property was being recorded. Right. And so that's what you just saw. They in his garage leaning on his car, talking trash, right? Right, the nerve of them, right? And I guess he's in a mixed race relationship. So they're talking about how his partner came in there, and they're assuming she's a dancer or something. So he's with a European lady. Not gonna play all this stuff because, you know, don't really care. But and then that was the video, the last little clip where they said he's a big black guy and the other guy says they basically a waste of life, right? So why are we talking about this, right? Why is this even a big deal? What do we see going on right now, right? What do you see going on in the last 4 years when how did Donald Trump get into office, right? He rode a wave. He rode a wave into office. You had a fear that they're speaking on right now, this fear of their time running out, this knowledge, this awareness of their own death, the awareness of their own the end of their reign. They see to spread hatred or extremist views, right? Because you can see, like, even I think like a year or two ago, the FBI put out a post talking about how white supremacist groups have infiltrated law enforcement all across the nation. Okay, look, FBI report. White supremacists, they infiltrated law enforcement. Okay, and it's a nationwide issue, a nationwide problem. Okay, and it's not just limited to New York or Louisiana or Florida, California. No, it's a nationwide issue, and they've been doing it. So by the time the FBI got to it, it was already after the fact. They've been warning. This was something that was known about. You see how it says FBI warned of white supremacy in law enforcement 10 years. This is from PBS 2016, 10 years ago. So they're saying in 2006, they were warning that this was happening, right? And so we're not just talking about this one incident. That's one thing that people need to understand. Like, if you come here for gossip, just go on somewhere. That's not what we do. So we're not just talking about this one isolated incident. One thing that we don't do here, we don't get like all emotionally riled up. Like when somebody gets killed by the police or something, we don't all of a sudden realize, man, there's a problem. Let's go out and march. That's not how we do. If we even address that issue, it's because we're going at the lingering concerns, the things that have been ongoing. They don't just happen every other year or so. Okay, so this isn't just an isolated event, as I'm showing here. This PBS report, this is from 2016, but it's talking about FBI has been warning about this for 10 years. So since 2006, they've been putting out reports talking about these white supremacist organized groups have infiltrated law enforcement. And it's not an isolated incident. This isn't just a problem. Like a lot of times when these killings and things happen where they're targeting our people and killing innocent people, they'll say, well, we're going to push for police to have cameras or body cams, right? They're ignoring the real issue. Okay, so this says a 2016 bulletin, which you can go and download. The FBI detailed the threat of white nationalists and skinheads infiltrating police in order to disrupt investigations against fellow members and recruit other supremacists. Islam more too, not attacking, man. Just if you're coming on here and you're complaining about the kind we're doing things, we do this methodically, right? We go at this a certain way for a purpose. So we don't just do things like how everyone else does it. We can't. I can't do it like TMZ. TMZ dumbs it down. We don't want to act like these cops going to that dude's door like that's some unique thing that just happened there. Nah, we're going at the real issue. This is a problem, right? And so first off, why is it that this has been getting discussed within the FBI and law enforcement? It's been a thing. They've been getting warned. They've been known about it, detailed, right? Detailed reports letting them know. Skinheads, white supremacist groups, neo-Nazi gangs, right? The bulletin was released during a period of scandals for many law enforcement agencies throughout the country, including a neo-Nazi gang formed by members of the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department. They harass Black and Latino communities. Why is a neo-Nazi gang in law enforcement, in the Sheriff's Department? This isn't words that I'm just making up. This is real, right? FBI report on this. And then it says investigation revealed officers and entire agencies with hate groups in ties in Illinois, Ohio, and Texas all this time, right? This was like 15 years ago, saying that entire agencies have been infiltrated. Like that, isn't that concerning? So this didn't just happen. This didn't just happen overnight. This isn't something new. And so, yeah, it's happening in Canada and all these other places, right? So they're saying that they go in there, like, you know, if something happens, they make evidence disappear. They do whatever they want, right? 2 Florida officers, including a deputy police chief, were fired after an FBI informant outed them as members of the Ku Klux Klan. Come on, man. These are from the FBI report. North Carolina police officer fired after a picture of him giving a Nazi salute surfaced on Facebook. Philadelphia Police Department, right? Look, I'm not making this up. I'm just throwing some of these out there so you know this is something that occurred all across the nation. So they know this is not new. This is serious. Law enforcement has been infiltrated across the entire nation by white supremacist groups. And there's a rise in white supremacist groups, right? And I'm not even knocking Trump. Here's the thing. I'm not knocking Trump. Okay? Some of the things that he's doing, you know, some of the people that he's going after, or whatever, you know, if that's really occurring behind the scenes, it's great. But he rode in on a wave of catering to this feeling that millions of European people feel all over the country. Doesn't matter if they're smiling in your face. Doesn't matter if they're married to you. Doesn't matter what's going on. There's a lot of them that feel this. This thing that you see on the screen, this is a book written by Pat Buchanan. Who's Pat Buchanan? Pat Buchanan ran for president. Okay? Says Patrick Joseph Buchanan is American paleo-conservative political commentator. All these words, he's a politician and broadcaster. Consultant to U.S. presidents, Richard Nixon, Ronald Reagan. That's what we need to look at. Special consultant to these presidents. He ran for president himself. All right, I think he ran twice. Okay, and so why am I sharing this? All right, I mean, you could look up his family ties and see where this guy comes from. We're not going to go too far in on that dude, but he wrote this book called The Death of the West. What was he talking about? The same thing the officers in this video, these cops, were talking about. The death of the West, how they have a negative birth rate. What does it say here? How dying populations and immigrant invasions imperil our country and civilization. So he wrote this in 2001. The Western culture is dying and will soon be imperiled. Right. So he's talking about Western civilization. What is Western civilization? Western civilization is basically modern day Rome. That's a continuation of Roman civilization, Roman rule. Okay. And so he didn't just put this book out. He's not just some nobody, right? This is Pat Buchanan. Like, I don't care about him, but for them, he's a somebody. He's somebody who's in power and who knows what he's talking about. And so he didn't put this book out there for you. He's putting this book out there for these people. All right. So that all of these people, like these officers, these cells that are getting activated, which now is past tense because they've already been activated. All these white supremacist cells all across the country and even all across the world, because everyone's paying attention to the West, to the capital, to the United States, right? So he's activating all these cells all over the world, white supremacist groups, letting them know we need to make our last hurrah. This is it, right? There's nothing they can do about what's going on. Their birth rate is at such a negative rate, you know, that there's more people dying than there are being born, and that it's accelerating. So every year it gets worse and worse. And it's just at the point where it's not sustainable. They know that. It's going down. And so put that out there just to let people know, like, look, we're going to cause hell. We're going to cause ruckus, whatever we need to do. Just giving them the go ahead to know it's time. Okay. Even just seeing that cover, lets them know death of the West. What the heck? Dying population. Okay, so these officers are talking about the same stuff he's talking about in that book, right? So people might, hear that and think, oh, nothing of it. It's not a big deal. Yeah, actually it is. It is. So they know what time it is, right? This is another article from Newsweek saying, just going in on that same video. But once again, like the way that they go at it is it's going to be watered down and weak. They're not really going in on it. They're not really approaching it properly. Islam to the Moors in Michigan. As you saw in that report, it was just up. They're everywhere. They're in Michigan too. Florida, Ohio, Illinois, California, right? Like that's the FBI report is telling you that you had actual neo-Nazis who had infiltrated the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department. Okay, so in light of this, it's not confusing or it's not surprising to hear these three, they call them white, but European officers speaking like this, right? It's not surprising. Okay, and so you should feel now an urgency to get these people out of your community. Like, why are they even coming to your door? That's a potential problem. You should really feel the urge to get out, organize, get with your people, and start building your own community up, right? So that you can police yourself, so that you can govern yourselves, because obviously these people are not fit to do it, right? So this is saying, once again, that back in 2006, the FBI, like the FBI is perfect, right? They have their own infiltration and things going on within that too, but still at the same point, they do have a job to do, all right? And they detailed the threat of white nationalists and skinheads infiltrating the police, all right? And once again, it said that same investigation revealed officers and entire agencies that had hate groups in Illinois, Ohio, and Texas. Entire agencies, right? That's what you're working with, right? So one thing, though, just to bring this back home, this video is not going to be too long, but one thing that I want to talk about too was just some of the oral statements that the prophet left for us, right? And that may help bring some of this back into a broader view so that we can see what's really going on. Now, once again, like when you're talking about the oral statements, you kind of have to take it with a grain of salt, because some of these statements, we don't even know where they came from, right? We don't even know who said it, let alone whether or not the prophet said it, because some of them, it'll at least say the name of who recorded it. Like it says, Sister A. Brown, L of Temple 25 said that the prophet said, and you could go possibly try to do the research, see who Sister A. Brown L was, and then you may be able to find out that, hey, she was actually talking about Prophet Noble Drew Ali. She wasn't reincarnating somebody who they were the prophet. I'm saying with these, but I am going to read some of these just because when you look at what's being done, right, you see that the prophet was actually on point. Okay, so right here, we're not going to give up until you look death in the face, right? They're looking death in the face. Buchanan put the word out. Like he was literally activating sleeper cells when he put that out in 2001, the death of the West. What did the prophet say? Allegedly, the prophet said, we don't know who was even recounting this, but allegedly the prophet told the Moors, European were not going to give up until he looked what? Death in the face. Okay, so they know what time it is. It's time. And so if you don't know what time it is, that's why I was sharing this, because like you need to know what time it is, right? Especially if you're claiming that you're more. You need to know what time it is. So they're real sensitive about this. This is not a game. This death of the West. This is it. And they might not, they're smart. That like the difference between them, how they move, and then how some of us move, not all of us, is they're not going to go and make YouTube videos about how they're dying out. They're saying this stuff secretly, not realizing that they're being recorded. These guys didn't know this dude had the surveillance camera on, right? So they're not going to get on YouTube and blab them, run their mouth about all this stuff. If you didn't know any better, you wouldn't even think that they were worried about this. You wouldn't even know this was going on. One of these dudes, for all I know, might have a so-called black girlfriend. He might have a bed wench, right? I don't know, right? So you wouldn't even know that they're having these discussions, that they're moving on it. They're not just talking about it, they're moving on it. They're doing what they can, right? But they also know that no matter what they do, it's over. Okay, so these are the type of discussions that they're having. Just because they're not talking about it on YouTube and on Instagram and out in the open, letting you know that's how they think and what they're, and how they feel. Just because they don't let you know, yeah, I'm secretly in a neo-Nazi group, but I'm also the sheriff. Like, just because they're not telling you that don't mean that that's not reality, right? We see that they're also, some of them are getting outed. Most of them aren't even getting outed, even though the FBI outed it and let them know entire agencies have been infiltrated. What do they do about it? So these guys are still in place. Just because you don't know don't mean it's not going on. And just because they don't blab it and put all their, stuff out there in the open, right? So Islam, to the brother Ben Bay, as he said in the chat, they look at death in the face. They got their backs against the wall. And like, what does a cornered animal do? You have a rat cornered, man, that rat is going to be fighting like, it's going to be fighting like there's no tomorrow, for real, right? He's saying you're in for the fight of your life. Like, for real. So allegedly the prophet told the Moors this, though. He said they're not going to give up until they look death in the face. And we see they've been putting these things out. This is not the only book. I just, zeroed in on this because I remember when this Pat Buchanan dude ran for president, right? And then I remember like a couple years later, he's writing about how their death rates are at a negative rate and how they're dying. Okay, so they're looking death in the face right now. See, that's the thing. A lot of people don't even realize it's not like nuclear war. It's not like zombies or something crazy. It's happening right now. It's already happening. They're already looking death in the face. All right. That's why we have the coronavirus to deal with. That's why you have the Georgia Guidestones where they're telling you how they're trying to take out as many people as possible. They want to get that world population down to like 500 million out of 7.7 billion or whatever it's at now. They're looking death in the face and they're making their moves. Okay. And so also though, one thing. Okay. And once again, like allegedly, Brother Jay Blakely said that the prophet told the Moors that it doesn't matter. It doesn't make any difference which way things look like they are going. It's all going to end up in the Asiatic's hands. Right. So this is another alleged quote from the prophet. Right. So you got those two right together because they go perfectly together. The prophet told the Moors, allegedly told the Moors the Europeans weren't going to give up till they look death in the face. Boom. They looking death in the face. That's why they're speaking how they speak. And then allegedly, he said it doesn't make any difference how things look, which way they look like they're going. It's all going to end up in the Asiatic's hands. Right? So all we have to do is follow our divine instructions. Be about our business. And it doesn't matter how bad things look. It's going to end up in our hands. And if you listen to these guys, these cops, it sounds like they know that. They know it, right? They're dealing with it. I'll play it one more time. But I wasn't really worried about this video so much. But it seems like they know.
White man's day is done.
He's probably right.
Yeah. No, I think he is right. Yeah. Well, if it's true, the even population of North America is we're in the minority. I think at this point.
Let me go back to that because That's something like you're definitely not going to hear anybody talking about that, right? They're like, even here, right now, like they'll say 2050 that white people will be a minority, but they know that that's a lie. If they're putting this out there, that means it's already fact. If they're putting this out there in the media, because by the time they let us know as a whole, by the time they bring something to the masses, it's already done. It's already too late. So if they're letting us know in the mass media that by 2050, by 2060, white people will be a minority, and this is what they tell us on the mainstream news. So if this is what they tell us in the mainstream, guess what? It's already true. Guess what? It was true when Pat Buchanan put that book out in 2001. Okay? They're lying. They're lying. Now, I know there are some places where there's still a lot of people of European descent, and not knocking people of European descent. Just, I mean, you see what we're speaking on. Like these white supremacist groups have infiltrated law enforcement. It's a problem, right? So we're just keeping it real. Like, look, the numbers have been down, okay? And it's been down for a while. They've been telling us for the last 5 years that they're at a negative birth rate, not just the people of European descent in America, because it's not America that's at a negative birth rate. It's people of European descent, right? The so-called Hispanics and so-called blacks don't have that issue. The others, right? But it's not just here in America. It's also in places like you see these guys are in Canada, right? With Canada, where you would think that the majority of people there are what they call white. No, they're not. Okay? And so this is happening everywhere. This is happening all over Europe. Even in places like the United Kingdom, like London, France, Paris, especially in the cities. They're seeing this. They've got people from the Caribbean, people from all over Africa, the Middle East, India, and they're at a negative birth rate. So this is happening in all of these countries, okay? And it's just happening across the board. So they're feeling this crunch. They're feeling it big time. Peace in the chat to the brother Santiago that said Norman Stamper's book, Breaking Point. I'm going to have to check that out. Appreciate that. Never heard of that. Right. So I'm definitely, I'm going to have to look into that. But this has been going on, right? So if they let us know 4 or 5 years ago in the media that Europeans in Americas and several European countries, the negative birth means that it's okay. All right. And so they're looking at that. They're looking it in the face. And it's over. It's over. So all we're seeing now is them trying to figure out ways to stay in power. I mean, if you look at it towards the end of this video, the one dude was saying he advises his son if he's going to get in a mixed relationship to get with an Asian woman or something. They're thinking about ways to get in there. It's like, oh, I got a black girl. I'm not racist. Bring out some little mixed children maybe, and like this is how they're talking. It's not all good. It's not all good. Like if you're going in thinking it's all good, it's all wonderful, like you're delusional, because it's not. Gigai to my brother or sister in Sao Paulo. I used to live in Bahia, Brazil's majority Afro-Brasileiros. Most of the people in Bahia, like 90% or more of the people of African descent, right? Or what you would call African descent. Also met people like a school teacher, sister, and she was telling me and my wife how she was indigenous from the land, right? was specifying that, like saying like ancestors not from Africa, and and it was cool because it was building on that with her because from America and like I'm feeling the same way. Like this is my story too. I can relate to you on that. So that was amazing to see, and then also seeing that too, like I see your name. It says Indio Negra de Teja. Like seeing that in the school books there, like how some of the school books, like my child had a school book there that said Negros de Terra, and it was talking about the indigenous people. Like that was the name that the Portuguese were calling the indigenous people in Brazil. Not to get too far off the point. And then some of those indigenous people in that state came to the school to talk, and they were what you would call Afro-Brasileiros, people of African descent, but they were the indigenous people, man. And so, it's amazing. Islam. So peace. Yeah, it's great to know. And okay, yeah, I remember speaking with you on Facebook. So it's going down. It's going down. All right. And that's something also, unfortunately, that we witnessed too in Brazil, man. I remember living there, and this used to bother me, like, because I would be walking around and I was living in a city that was like a chocolate city. Is majority Afro-Brazilians, Afro-Brasileiros, and like we weren't in positions of power there, like our people there, like they going to the bank, and the only jobs they have there is like cleaning up. There they could be in security where they're like putting their life on the line. It's like it wasn't high paying jobs. So like, they could be security, they could be security guards, but they couldn't be like behind the counters. They couldn't be managers. And it was like maybe one congressman, I think it was a congressman, maybe a congresswoman, yeah, who was a sister. But like, everybody's of Europe, look like they're of European descent. Right. Which I know even like their looks can be deceiving, but I was just saying that because that used to piss me off. That got on my nerves, man. I hated that, right? But we have a lot of work to do there and here as well. Okay, so we have our work cut out for us. One of the good things, though, allegedly, as the prophet said, it doesn't matter how things look; it's going to end up in our hands. All right, and so. Even in places like Brazil or wherever you're from, there's maybe other people watching this in other parts of the world, other parts of the Americas. Guess what? The Europeans there are talking like this as well. This isn't just limited to Canada. And as you can see, this isn't just limited to the United States. Like this happens all over every state, every territory. Okay. And this is not something that they put on blast. I just wanted to speak on it just to put it in the proper context, though, just to bring it back home. Because as you can see, like the way that they approach this in right, they're not really talking about it. They're giving you the candy version of what happened, right? So yeah, it's enough of that. But just with this, getting out there is funny. But it's on conversation of all the in private. Just hearken to the prophet's words. All right, we were warned. We were given insight. If this is a real quote from the prophet, we were just given insight into the inevitable. The Europeans were not going to give up until they looked death in the face. So it's happening. They're looking death in the face. And then allegedly also, it doesn't make any difference which way things look like they're going. It's going to end up in whose hands? Ours. Okay. And then allegedly also, they're going to have to take up some water. Right. This was reported by Brother O. Peyton Bay of Temple 25 in Detroit, Michigan, that the Holy Prophet told the Moorish children, you're at home, and the European is 5,000 miles from home, and he's going to have to take some water. Okay. And allegedly also said, I'm going to stop the European from thinking and start you, the Moors, to thinking for your own good. Okay. And so I only share these things to say that, it's time for us to focus on building up our own communities, right? Not talking, arguing, fighting, actually really building, being you know, having a one-track mind, just focusing on our strategies, our own goals, and making it happen. The people who don't want to get down, who cares? Let them do them, right? But it's going down. It's going down right now around us. That video is just funny because some of the stuff that they're doing got put on blast. But like I was trying to tell the other brother who was commenting before, like this, it wasn't about that video, right? There was a bigger issue, right? The FBI warned of them infiltrating back in 2006, and it wasn't a small thing. Entire agencies are filled with these groups. So it's not amazing or shocking to hear police talking like this, cops talking like this, whatever they want to call themselves. It's not shocking to hear that, right? They shouldn't even be in those positions, but they're still in the positions because the system is supporting it, because the system's down with it. All right. And so it's time for you, if you're watching this, to build with other people in your communities for real, to build up your own community, right? You can't allow these people, obviously they're not going to do right by you, right? They've shown that. And their own society is crumbling. They have infighting. They have all types of things going on just amongst each other. And that's the thing that's getting them to stop thinking, right? They're going to fail us. They're already failing us. You know, they're not just trying to kill us. That's the thing. They're killing several. The plan is to kill several billion people on the planet. That means several people of European descent as well. They're trying to take out all of these people. Okay? And then there's people who are aware of this, who are fighting back. There's all types of things going on. So all we have to do is focus on us, build our own community up, and we have everything that we need. So just to end this off, one thing I would advise everybody to do is get the Prophet's actual literature, material, the laws, read everything, study, understand what is telling you, understand the blueprint that is left for you, and do it everywhere you're located, wherever city, town, or whatever, wherever you're at. Follow the blueprint. You can't do it by yourself, so you have to build with other people, your family, friends, whatever, you know, or just people that think on the same wavelength as you, right? They're also family as well. So you need to build with people in real life where you're at, because, like, you know, I don't know what else to tell people. Like, this stuff is not a game. Like, some of that stuff, like, if you really paying attention and you weren't aware of how serious this stuff is, that stuff should be scary to you, right? Like, I'm not scared. I'm not scared. But, like, I don't know why I'm not scared, because this is crazy. This is insane. Just the fact that, you know, that this has been occurring for so long, that it's to the point now where all of these agencies have been infiltrated. Okay? It's bad. It's past being bad. You know? It's at the breaking point. Okay? And the only reason why we're good is because all of this stuff is crumbling. It's all falling. It's all coming down. It's too little, too late. Right? I see people sharing posts talking about Bill Gates trying to block out the sun. Oh, man. Yeah. See, this is a thing. Like, Google finishes the search for me because it's a thing. It's really a thing. Right? This is from Forbes. Bill Gates' venture aims to spray dust into the atmosphere. Okay? He's trying to block the sun. Too late. I mean, it's already been. What do you think the whole thing was about? Right? They've been doing chemtrails for the longest. But still, too little. So they're doing all this stuff, little too late. Actually building so that you don't have to start from square one. All right, because it's going down. Okay, and on that note, though, we'll go ahead and end this. Just make sure you share this video. Share this, help get this information out. I know a lot of people, don't realize how serious this stuff is, right? And they need to see this. And maybe they need to see it from pbs.org before they realize this ain't a game. And then they need to see that people of European descent, look at Pat Buchanan. Look how this dude looks. Writing about this. This is not a joke, right? These police officers weren't just saying this. They didn't make that stuff up, right? They're just repeating what this dude said and what these scientists and other people were saying. It's a known fact. These people started sounding the alarm 20 years ago, letting them know it's over. We're at death's door. Okay? So the death of the West is not a bad thing to us. We don't care about Western civilization, Rome continuing to try to rule over us, oppress. We're not with that stuff. So it's not a bad thing for us. So let it fall, right? Who cares? But people do need to know about this. And once again, Islam to the brother Anthony said Pat Buchanan wrote the pale-face population in Europe declining also. Yeah. So, when he said the West too, it's not just talking about the United States. Across all of these different countries in Europe. What do you see happening in South Africa? Stuff that was playing out that was even getting mainstream coverage. You had a change of power where you have people in South Africa is a place where the majority of the people down there are being ruled over by Europeans. If you look at the racial dynamics down there now, you'll see things are changing. You have people of European descent now complaining about being oppressed. All right, let's see what happens if I type that up. White South Africans, they're complaining about being oppressed, right? Like things are flipping, okay? And so I might not be able to find something to show you right now, but things are flipping. And it's happening right before our eyes. So if you know what's going on, you can see and you're good. So on that note, we're going to go ahead and end out, though. Make sure you hit like and share. We appreciate you all. And you guys have a great day. Peace and love.